Hello, 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 Atomic Atticus and Ray and Tanner Charles and Julio Sham and Derek Kopech and Game Inc. Hello, all. Jack here. Jack here solo. Chris is traveling right now, and he's out and zooming in, and he's gonna hop on in just a second. We're ready, Fluged. How y'all doing? Welcome, one and all. Welcome, people who found us in the last 2 weeks, which is statistically a lot of you, and welcome to people who have been hanging around this channel since January of 2016 or anywhere in between. Welcome to all. Welcome, Nathan, Mr. Mooseman, Bob the Spud, Joanna, Data, That Neon Art, Seth, Alicia, Gigarex, Will, Person Is Me, hi from Germany, hi Vortex, hi Simply Simon. This is a lot of names. What's up, y'all? What's up, Danilo, Matt, Tom Rico, Fortuitous. I don't even see what you're saying. I just see your names rolling by. What's up, Dagosuki? Beam Buddy. Hello, hello, hello. Johnny. Hello, Prop Guy. Hello, all. Welcome. Welcome. We're hanging. 500K. We started this channel in 2016, if you don't know. Big hi from Ireland. Big hi from Detroit. What's up? What's up? Hi from Georgia. Good luck listing all the names. I gave up. I'm enjoying it, though. What's up, Delano? What's up, Amax? What's up, all the people who I keep missing? What's up, William Soto? What's up, Conlin? You deserve millions. Thank you. Hello from the Netherlands. I found you by the Genie video. So it would appear that this Genie video has introduced us to a ton of people. In the last 2 weeks since we released that video, we've grown. The channel has grown by like 125,000 subscribers, which is wild. That was a number that we were not at when we did this little relaunch last November. So the growth in that time has quintupled. We've quintupled. We're really enjoying releasing stuff. We're so glad that people are finding us, that people are joining this community. Been here since dorm life. What's up, Andy Davidson? That's rad. Shorts seem to be a good move. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people are finding us through shorts, and we've had a lot of success through shorts throughout the year, and then this one seems to be the one that is helping even a lot of like shorts only viewers find our main channel videos, which is so cool. And it's really such a treat for us to see a bunch of our older videos get a bunch of views in a short period of time too, to know like, hey, there's stuff we made a while ago that we're proud of that's been sitting out there, and seeing people find that now is awesome. What's up, Nick Thomas Juggler? What's up, Infamous Swoosh? Road to 1 million. Who knows? Not something we ever thought of. Well, I mean, of course it's something we thought of, but it's it's not, we're not like all about it, just like pure chasing numbers, but it is incredibly cool. Tanner Charles, super curious about your guys' journey, why you stopped, started up again, how you guys are blowing up now. Yeah, I figured a lot of today we can you can ask us questions and we'll try to chat about all of that, because it's been a very exciting time for the channel. Yeah, we're happy to just talk about what that road's been. Yeah, if you're new to the channel and you don't know this, I'm also a voice actor, and I was Sokka in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm currently Callum on The Dragon Prince, and MK in Lego Monkey Kid. So that's a part of this as well. Chris is a blue man. These are the fun things that get discovered in the comment sections of all of our videos. So those are fun facts that you can hear about any old time. But yeah, we figured we'll chat, we'll answer some questions, we'll rock and roll. And who is that we? Well, it is my deepest pleasure and greatest joy to welcome Mr. Chris Smith.
What is up, everybody? Hello.
Hey, Chris.
Well, hello to everyone. Yeah.
500K.
If that's not an excuse to toast a little champagne.
Toast some champagne from a plastic cup. I've got some cold brew. We're in different time zones. We're living different lives right now.
But congrats to one and all. How about that? 500K? That's I mean, and growing.
500K.
It's so wild
We
to look at the number and then be like, how is that moving so fast?
Yeah. We scheduled. So we do a monthly Patreon live stream. We scheduled a Patreon live stream for today. We weren't planning on doing a public one. And then like a week or two ago, we were like, oh, hey, we might hit 500K. So we should think about if that Patreon live stream should also include a public section. And then we did. And then by the time we got here, we're at 575. That number is growing in a very wild and fast way. So yeah, next week we'll do a 600K.
Yeah. It's wild too that like it moved so fast because then I had to very quickly for this live stream adjust my travel plans because I was I was going to be in Orlando for a little bit, and then I was like, well, if I'm over here, I might as well keep going all the way to I'm in Paris right now. Yeah, I'm obviously in Paris, like the very real Paris.
Yeah, you're in the
very real.
You're in the plastic champagne cups part of Paris.
Yeah. I think you can kind of see.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a Eiffel Tower, and it's like, very
Eiffel
iconic.
Tower for sure. I'm sure that's around.
And I think it's weird because depending on, maybe I'm just completely disoriented from my my long haul flight across the Atlantic.
From
but
Orlando,
I feel like, from here I can also see. I can see America. I can see Morocco.
Oh, you must be you must be in a really high part of Paris.
UK. Yeah, I think I'm in the
just
top mountain
top
part
elevation
of Paris. Yeah. So
love all the sci-fi sketches. Love from Denmark. Love to Denmark always. Chris was born in Denmark. Do you know that Humdepee? Couldn't say that one.
Gori.
Couldn't find it. Ramirez Art Jam, who makes our thumbnails, says he almost had to make a 600K version of the thumbnail instead. I mean, we're creeping. It's really wild. Chris, I was saying before you got here, it's the past 2 weeks. It's 127 or something like that, 1,000 new subscribers. I'm so excited to welcome all of you to the gang, to the squad, to the Kraken was what at one point was attempted. Yes. Kraken, but you're spelling it like our names somehow.
Phrack.
Yeah. There was an effort
Kraken?
there.
It feels it's just interesting to be like, I don't know, like the subscriber chase has not necessarily
it's
been
not why we do it.
The point.
It's not a thing we focus on, but when it starts popping like that, it's pretty crazy.
It's a very fun thing to look at and realize that like, oh, that serves as in the YouTube world where we crack a glow stick and throw it into a cave and hope people like what we make and we enjoy the journey in making it. That's just like that's at least something that tells us that people hopefully are enjoying it.
Are watching it. And yeah, like I was saying, it's cool to see then new people find the channel, other older videos of ours start to get views afresh. That's cool because it just feels like, hey, some art we made a couple years ago is giving people hopefully a nice day. Currently have more subscribers than the population of Malta. Thank you for that fun fact, D-Flow Sounds. And we are also, our channel is a tax shelter, if anyone's wondering, if you want to move into our channel. Oh, hey, what's up, Author G? Love your skits. So glad you're blowing up more. Thank you so much, Author G, for the super chat. That's awesome. That's super kind of you. It's a wild time. So, Chris, I was saying for people who are new, new around here, I figure we can catch them up a little bit, right?
Totally.
Like introduce ourselves?
Catch them up.
Is that a thing? Is that weird?
We should say hello and like what we're known for, I guess, which for me is obviously world travel and
Chris
popping up in live streams in various world locations.
Yeah,
that's
Chris,
usually what we do with these live streams.
I don't know if you have access to chat while you're out there, but a couple of people have guessed what your ruse might be.
I feel like it's been perfect. It's been the perfect heist, Jack.
Yeah. Been here since the one with the totally normal video game. That's awesome, Harry the Dinosaur. Crayon Thief, let's get Chris and Jack a couple million subscribers so I can stop the Patreon. I respect that.
Fair.
But in the meantime, if you do want to support the Patreon, because that is how we've funded all of the videos we've released in the last year. There are some indications this month that we might be able to change how some of that is structured. This month has been really special, but historically everything has been through the Patreon. That is the plan. going forward. So Patreon is a really wonderful way to support us. And there's a lot
Also,
of fun
just
stuff
to
over
say,
there. We can tell you
just to
about
say,
that
as
later.
maybe a merger of worlds, currently on our Patreon, we have our short film, I Need It Yesterday, which was the one that like we just took it around to film festivals for the year. And probably, here's a spoiler. It might be the next thing we release publicly on the channel.
Yes.
It might be the big thing we're going to be releasing here soon.
We'll
so
be
if you can't
dropping
wait
that.
and you want to watch it, go to our Patreon now.
Yeah.
But if you can, maybe that'll be dropping soon.
Yeah, and already over there for that one and for the Genie sketch, director's commentary, deleted scenes, bloopers. There's always a lot of stuff around the sketches. Our style is to overshoot. We write a bunch of extra jokes, shoot them all, cut them out. You'll see some of those pop up in shorts where we've been enjoying putting some jokes that we left out of the main video into the shorts and just weaving them in to keep those feeling fresh for people. But there's a whole big collection of them in a deleted scenes video. So the Genie one, there's 6 minutes of extra stuff, including a
overshoot, under deliver.
Overshoot, under deliver. There's a couple of full on alt endings that I think one of which might find its way to shorts at some point, but there's some fully different ideas happening over there that we left out. David Cornelius says best sketch comedy channel since Barats and Beretta. I don't know what that is, so I'll have to check that out. And thank you so much for your support, David Cornelius. And infamous.
You're doing great, by the way, Jack. I just want to say you're doing great. You're holding it down right
Thanks,
now.
Man.
I feel like I'm just the guy that's just like hanging out in the courtyard of Paris, the one courtyard.
Yeah,
in the
single
city
courtyard
of Paris, enjoying some champagne. I just want to support you in this moment to say like you're holding down chat.
Thank you.
You're
in my youth
right now.
In my youth actor days, I got close a couple of times on like hosting gigs, and I did a little bit of like hosty type of stuff. And I've always been like, I enjoy getting the chance to click into that mode. Infamous Swoosh, Jack, my man, met Michaela Murphy at VidCon. We chatted about how great this channel is. Congrats on all the success. And hopefully you and Chris get invited as feature creators so we can all hang. Let's all hang, Infamous Swoosh. Also, shout out to Michaela Murphy, voice of Toph in Avatar: The Last Airbender. She's super awesome. She appears in one of our sketches. So go back and find The Aliens Have Finally Responded if you want to see. I'll do a fun tease. We've previously had Michaela, the voice of Toph. Dante Bosco, the voice of Zuko, has appeared in a couple of our sketches. We are soon about to have... can I full spoilers, Chris?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
I've finished.
You're
my
in Paris,
last
dude.
cup
You're
of
cutting
champagne.
loose.
I'm in Paris,
You're in
dude.
spoiler
Yeah.
mode. James C., the voice of the Cabbage Merchant and the face of the Cabbage Merchant in the current Netflix series. He's so awesome and is popping up in one of our videos soon. And then somewhere down the line in the next couple of months, we've already shot something with Janet Varney, who's the voice of Korra. So if any of you happen to be Avatar fans or just discovering that I was involved in that world, we got a bunch of fun. In that way coming.
Can you reveal to our little side game that we do with Zooms, Jack? Because you gave a nice little title in our Zoom meeting
Chris
today.
hosts all of our Zooms and
Usually
has become obligated to send titles of the emails that include Zoom puns or just the word Zoom somewhere in there.
Yep.
Chris has never seen Avatar: The Last Airbender except for the first episode, which he watched for a podcast where we made him watch it. Check out Avatar: The Last Viewer. It's part
or
of
also the explanation as to why.
Yeah.
So that I can have some defense.
You can have some defense. It's because his brother watched too much Dragon Ball and he didn't like it. But check that out. That's a very fun thing. But now I peppered him with I pepper him occasionally with Avatar references that he doesn't get. So the title of that email was "My First Girlfriend Turned into the Zoom." So there you go. There's that.
But other Zoom titles have been "We Bought a Zoom."
We Bought a Zoom is a popular one for us. Greetings from Brazil. Ever wondered if you had Brazilian fans? There you go. Thank you, Danilo. Thank you so much. Brian, glad to see you grow over the years. Been here since the Afterlife video of yours first popped up on Reddit. That is day one. Brian, you were here from day one. The White Room, And the day we put it on Reddit, the day we put it on YouTube. So you're a day oneer, Brian. That's incredible. Also, really missed July 6th Park. Been keeping it alive in my home. We've been doing a live event in LA the last couple of years, which is an incredible time. Also, Chris, we haven't talked about this at all, but we got a title drop for the new Jurassic Park film. Did you see this?
Oh, what was the title?
Rebirth.
Oh my
Jurassic
gosh,
World
that's right,
Rebirth.
yes.
So I don't know.
July
I don't
6th
know.
Park Rebirth.
We'll have
Maybe
to-
it's
I
gonna
mean, that's
happen.
certainly a conversation, you know? Christopher
Given,
Neistat
yeah.
asked, what was the hardest sketch to make? Love from Norway. This is a great question. You start thinking about that. I'm gonna read these other super chats, and then we'll answer that. Ike started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender a month ago, 2 weeks before finding you guys. Couldn't believe I recognized your beautiful face. Heck yeah. Welcome, Ike. Also, fantastic timing. Love you guys so much. Thanks. Thank you. Mind Hacks. Jack, love seeing you show up in Dropout. Hope to see both of you popped up on there as well. Would love to. Super fun. I had a
I would love that,
fantastic
yeah.
time over there with Dante and Janet and Iffy, Brian, David Gilbert. I mean, I had a wonderful time. And Zach Reno of Dropout fame has popped up in 2 of our most recent sketches. So check that out. He's also... We've known him since college. He was in dorm life. Thank you, Matthew Romano. I'm a gunked up skunk. Okay. Okay. What was the question we
I
were
have
going to
an
answer?
answer.
Yes, I don't even
I have
remember
an
what it was.
answer.
Hardest sketch.
I mean, I feel like Movies in Space was probably that because it's maybe a cop-out answer because it was a short film that was made before the channel fully launched.
Yes,
It was
to
also
tell you- yeah.
something we shot 6 days. Usually all of our sketches are 1, and now more recently we'll shoot a couple in a day.
Yeah.
But Movies in Space was like a week-long shoot. It took a long time to kind of like get organized, and then the post-production took like 7 months, and then it was a big labor of love that was mainly geared towards film festivals. And then once White Room did what it did, it was kind of like, well, I guess we got to release more stuff.
Yeah.
And then it happened that we had both been and collaborated on that, and then that made sense as another thing to release. But that was a big, challenging piece.
Yeah, some of the more short film type things that the one we're about to release are ones that have gotten more time than we do. For the history of the channel, it was always one-day shoots. Now we try and shoot more than one thing in a one-day shoot. I'm trying to think of like the toughest single-day thing. It would have to be one of the like involved makeup days. I mean, the troll one was like makeup and a hike. So it got kind of complicated in that way.
I feel like, in that way too, like Meet at First Light and Cryptex, we shot those in the same day, and that was tough because it was never scouted the area, got out there.
Yeah.
I got a poisonous spider
Chris
bite.
got a poisonous spider bite. There was a dog that lived on the set that just was hanging out. And when we were shooting the first sketch, it was like a little annoying because it was like, we want to be nice to this dog. We're all very friendly, but the dog now wants to hang out with us. But it's like getting in the way of shots. And then when we shot the second sketch, which was Meet at First Light, we were like, oh, let's let this dog hang out as much as this dog wants. So the dog in Meet at First Light was a shooting obstacle that turned into a lovely discovery. David A., love you guys, and we love you, David A. Thank you very much. Some other questions that are popping up, and I'm doing my best to spot them as we go. Feel free to ask stuff. I definitely see all the super chats, but I'm trying to keep up with other questions too.
And I'm just holding it down here having more champagne, by the way. I got a little flight.
Get in there. Different
There's
champagnes
3.
from around
I have 3. Yeah. See this?
Wow.
Here's an angle. How about that? What about that angle, huh? Little forced perspective makes them look a lot larger and more
Makes
made of
you
glass,
look
maybe?
huge.
Yeah, that's good. And does this angle make them look like they're made of glass?
No. For some reason,
Okay.
I can't tell, like, why does my brain so clearly know it's, like, no part of my brain thinks it's glass, and I don't know enough about glass fusing that I don't know why that is so easy to tell.
Right.
Is Chris in Paris? If yes, how is it still sunny outside? Yes, and the light is a trick of the eye. 'cause
Pre-recorded.
It's pre-recorded, and Chris has a natural bounce.
My side is pre-recorded.
Yeah.
Yes.
How did we meet Zach and Jess? Separately and years ago. We've known both of them separately for a long time. Zach, we met through, Chris and I went to UCLA. One of my best friends went to UC Irvine. We would do a lot of improv shows together between our two schools, and Zach was a dear friend of my dear friend Nagin, who was at UC Irvine, so we all became friends in college. So I've known Zach since 18, and he was in Dorm Life, which is a web show that Chris and I and a bunch of dear friends made. So Zach, since way back in the day. Jess first met through my now wife. They were like theater camp friends. They've been theater camp friends for years. So it's
also,
just
Jack, I don't want to do. I mean,
stuff.
I don't want to cut you off, but the mention of Lisa and your wife. I wonder if there's a spoiler that we can give the world right now in your life. Is that something that is plausible to potentially share?
Oh, I wasn't gonna.
Great. No need.
I was keeping that a Patreon thing, but we'll probably be able to share some fun stuff soon. Some exciting news.
Great.
We're having any day now, but I don't want to say it too loud. When is the movie where you're loosely when is the movie where all of your loosely connected characters? When is that going to come out? Good time. We should try to do that.
Well, we do have a movie that we're in that's coming out soon, which is very exciting.
I misread that comment at first, thinking it was about that, and then got confused in the middle. That's why I trailed off. Yeah, we acted in a movie. Tim Hodicat, who's a super talented YouTuber who y'all might know, he wrote and directed a film that Chris and I acted in that's going to be coming out on streaming in early October. So we'll
October 1st.
Tell you more about that. It's called Me, Myself, and the Void. Kelly Marie Tran, Akilah Hughes are in it too. It's very exciting. So check that out. We're out there. Chris, do you want to chat about what the day's like out there?
I'm in Paris.
Why are you in Paris?
Yeah. Well, I'm in Paris because it's actually Epcot. It's actually the Epcot Center. And that's my big reveal and my big twist. And did you see earlier when I did that really subtle?
I did notice that, but I've never been to Paris, so I just assumed that was like a common lawn feature.
There is actually a Disney Paris, now that I think about it. So that probably would have been, maybe I could have played that out.
You could have really played that out further. For longer, yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I want to explore and take y'all around a little bit. I just know that there will be pockets where whatever signal I've got right now that's totally working, I will disappear.
Do that.
So
I'll try to
get some time here.
What I'll try to do is spot some questions along the way that I can answer when you disappear.
Yeah, great.
Amused Walrus, aliens have finally responded sketch is the best. Stupid dumb scientists don't understand how to hang out with the alien bros. They're such they just want to make friends. But thank you very much.
Comment also means more than anything because that's the one that you can give the backstory on that sketch. But it was a labor of love.
Yeah, that one was in various stages for a very long time. It was a fun one to find. Our goal always with this channel, we've shared this before, but our goal when we make, now that we've made so many, our goal with each one is can each sketch. At some point, can we hear one person tell us, that's my favorite thing you've made? You found one, Amused Walrus, that we don't hear as often, so thank you very much. Prozzy Studios, can't stick around, but want to say the new videos are all hilarious. My friend group have all been so hooked on the new videos. Thank you so much. That's awesome. I mean, we're so excited that people are finding us and people are watching the new stuff. And
can I share, too, which is what I had an incredible experience just an hour ago. I was at the Epcot Center.
What?
And then
at Paris Disney?
At Paris Disney. They've now had, it's like kind of an inception of parks. But then I grabbed some food at one of the little kiosks, and then someone recognized me from Chris and Jack.
There we go.
How crazy is that?
There we go. We're out.
Made my day. Yeah. I still had to pay. For the food. So I should maybe have pushed that it's our 500K celebration.
I mean, I think if you were on stream at the time, maybe they would have felt more pressure.
Maybe they would have felt pressure. Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, but those perks will come. They'll come.
Boothka asks, do you plan on doing more animated projects like the History of the Universe? Yes, we do. That's a thing we love. That's one of the if you ever worry that we're going to start hard chasing the numbers and the views and the subscriber totals, just know that we're not. We're gonna make whatever. We're gonna make whatever feels good. So that's an example of one that we love, and we were like, we don't know what it's gonna look like for an animated video on our channel. Didn't ostensibly perform as big numbersy, but no part of us was like, then therefore we shouldn't make more animated stuff. We want to make the stuff that's artistically exciting to us, so we're gonna keep doing that.
I think it's also for a second. I think that's also a thing about the channel that like has been very fun for us is the kind of curation of a full experience. Like now we're kind of seeing it, and we saw it early on in the process as like our TV show, I guess. But the element of like, whatever ends up getting you here, hopefully there's a backlog of things that feel of a variety of a different kind that kind of, I don't know, like fill in a fabric of at least like ideas that keep us entertained, and hopefully will keep you entertained as well. But that definitely has a lot to do with like stylistic departures and some experiments here and there and length stuff. And obviously we have things that we love to come back to and characters we love to re-explore and re-examine and whatnot. But like,
we would get bored too easily if it was like, oh, this is what all the sketches should feel like, because this is what's working. That's we want to keep ourselves interested. So you can expect variety, and yes, animation, yes, longer stuff, yes, shorter stuff, yes, more aliens. Someone was asking. Yes, all sorts.
Maybe a miniseries.
Maybe a miniseries is a goal for the channel. We've got something in mind for. I had another thing. Hey, how often do you see each other in the wild? Ike asks. A lot. We've gotten to the point where like a fair amount of the stuff can happen remotely, but we both live in LA. I don't know, guys. Chris is not really in Paris. We both live in LA.
Epcot.
He's in Epcot.
Epcot Center.
You're in Orlando for a very fun work
not
trip.
In LA.
If you want to talk about that at some point.
Sure.
And we're in LA. We're together all the time. But yeah, the like stuff like some of our writing process and editing process back and forth on stuff can happen remotely. So we're not as in this. I think when the channel first started, every like writing, everything was we're gonna sit in the same living room but yeah, we were together all the time, and then we have these big fun shoot days.
We had a great dinner just the other night.
It was great. We had a really nice dinner. It was lovely. Our 500K celebration was at a really fantastic pasta bar in LA. That's so good. Almost a Pair. You killed my childhood, and you're killing it now. Thank you. Almost
That's
a Pair.
Compliment?
I think it's not like you ruined my childhood.
Got it. Okay, just confirming.
You killed in my childhood. Like during my childhood, you were really killing it.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And they're killing it now. There's a chance this is about the sketches we were making 7 years ago. Because I've started to get that now from people of like in middle school, me and my buddies watched all your stuff, and I'm so glad you guys are back. And it's like, yeah, for us, it's been sort of one continuous grind, and we're old. Thanks, Unsing. Someone keeps asking, I'll do it. A giant mushroom. Maybe it's friendly. Mushy giant friend. Chris, what's that mean? What's that all about?
So Jack was in a show called 100 Things to Do Before High School.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure the guidance counselor had all these crazy
quote, Chris.
Yeah.
Will Chris ever grow a beautiful beard like Jack's? Oh, roll back the tape. Chris has had a very wonderful beard as recently as a month ago before he had to shave it for an extended stay in Chicago Blue Man Group. Chris is a Blue Man.
Yep. Which is what, spoiler alert, I'm at Epcot right now. I'm at the Epcot Center in Orlando, and that's why I'm here.
Because he was doing some fun Blue Man Orlando stuff.
Beautiful serendipity that I'm able to celebrate with a little journey around the world on this 500K celebration. But I was also here because yesterday they did a big groundbreaking ceremony for a new Blue Man theater they're opening right in Icon Park, which is near the main convention center in Orlando. Because Blue Man was here full time as part of a partnership with Universal Studios, and then pandemic, it got shut down. It was the only Blue Man show that got shut down during the pandemic, but then it was very exciting news that yesterday they announced the groundbreaking on it coming back with the new theater. And then I was one of the blue men in the ceremony, which involved essentially helping the mayor cover the CEO of Blue Man Group in paint, and it was amazing.
And you said
you
were telling me that like the CEO was not like the intended. You were just supposed to like pick somebody. You didn't know it was the CEO, but you grabbed.
It was definitely a like, well, we're flying by the seat of our pants here, and we're gonna put somebody in a Tyvek and cover them in paint. And yeah, there was just kind of like a impromptu moment that we went with.
There we go.
But it was also cool that like then we were in character, and then they had us like go around different places at Icon Park. So there was just it was amazing too to feel like when you're in character and you're just kind of saying yes to everything in the moment. Then they're like, okay, cool. Now we're gonna hop you guys on this ride. And then it was just like, of course we are. And then I got on these like swings that ended up going up hundreds of feet. And it was deeply terrifying. And then you have to be in character. And I never experienced that before where I was like, oh, I have so much fear. And all I want to do is scream.
But it's the one rule of your character.
I can't. That's the one rule is to stay egoless and curious. And so I had to be on this like horrifying ride, looking around, just like being like, what is this all about? And what is gravity and all this type of stuff? So it was a real interesting meditation on like finding the relaxation in terror.
I mean, just great character work.
Great character work.
Common theme in the questions, Chris. Landon asks, how long does it take to blue yourself? Tyler asks, how awful is it covering yourself in blue goop before every show? D-Flow asks, how long does it take for Chris to cover his blue skin with tan makeup? Do you want to tackle that?
The tan makeup and the blue makeup, comparable amounts of time. It's really, whatever's going over top is mainly the of
Yeah.
To blue yourself is really about 30 minutes, something like that. 30 minutes. It's honestly the longest part of the process is waiting for glue to dry, because we put a bald cap down, covers the ears. We'll like do rubbing alcohol beforehand, and then you lay the bald cap down and then glue along the edges. That's what creates the kind of like seamless look to all of it. And then as you wait for that glue to dry, you do some nice like warm up bits in the dressing room, which just usually involve just full on insanity. And then you just slather what's called grease paint, which I didn't realize is a type of like makeup that never dries. So it's kind of like this wet appearing paint essentially, but it's like feels almost like a balm or a clay, and then that goes over the full thing, and then that's just really your face that gets covered in it. And then obviously on the bald cap, and then to get out takes about 20 minutes, but I'll still blow my nose 2 weeks later and there'll be blue in there, so I don't think you can ever really get it out. But then to put the tan makeup on after that does take about another 30 minutes. And then I glue my hat on.
Yes, to cover. You already have the line from the bald cap. It's easier.
Yeah, exactly.
It's easier that way. Multi-Greenman, you guys are refreshing. Thank you for all the laughs and twists. Thank you, Multi-Greenman. Paul, thank you for all the laughs, fellas. Congrats on the milestone. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Bartholomew Jenkins says, almost at 600K, celebrating 500. It's wild. We were at 440 or something like that 2 weeks ago. I had to go back and check. So the time it took us to schedule a celebration stream, progress that number.
A celebration scream.
A celebration scream.
Sometimes
Let's have
you
a.
just gotta scream,
Will you? You're out there for us. I'm in a closet. I'm in a soundproof recording booth, so it'd be weird for me to scream.
Sure. Yeah, I feel like for me to scream would probably involve getting to an area pretty quickly against my will, where there's probably not a lot of Wi-Fi.
Can I get like a really half-hearted yeah?
Yeah.
500K celebration.
Four faces turned over here. 4 out of 6.
504. 500K and 4.
Yeah. That felt emphatic, right?
I felt good. I felt good about that. I gave you the out of half-hearted, and I thought it was more fun than I expected.
Well, you don't realize how big my heart is, Jack.
Charkar, yeah! Celebration, yeah! Thank you, Charkar. Monkey Kid. Don't have a question, just wanted to mention Monkey Kid. I love Monkey Kid. I have had such fun working on that. Someone also asked about Dragon Prince. Yeah, season 7 is coming the end of this year. They're cranking them out. So check that out. Check that out. Chris, someone asked 2-hour juggling challenge when?
I'll one up you with 3-hour plus juggling challenge then.
There's video
Already
of Chris breaking the 4-ball durational juggling record of over 3 hours. That one does not have me watching. That's a task I don't think I could ever. Easy
But
for
maybe we'll
Chris
have to
would be
cross
very
that
tough for me.
at some
but
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's there's a video probably linked on Instagram or somewhere that or on my YouTube channel, Merry Chris Smith was a channel that I tossed some stuff onto, and that's I broke the world record for 4-ball duration with the original beanbags I learned on in the living room. I learned to juggle in the last day that my family owned the childhood home that I grew up in, and then literally that's what prompted the whole thing. Bagged the record and then pieced out.
Get out of there. David
I got
Hansen.
out there. I said, yeah, at like a half-hearted level, and then like 4 people saw it, and I'm like, cool, there's the world record. Bye. Drop the balls.
David Hansen asks, how has your comedy philosophy changed since you started the channel? That's an interesting question that I don't immediately like. I'm sure it has evolved, but it's tough to remember well enough. Right? Yeah, please.
I'll say my first thought was from a philosophy of the channel versus a comedic philosophy. But the first philosophy was really like, let's use this as a platform to showcase the things that we want to be making and are, for whatever reason, unable to get made outside of, needing to get permissions from a lot of other people to make things and get things done. And let's cut out the middleman and do that, and then use it as a loss leader. And then over time, it essentially pivoted from let's use this to try and maybe get outside work or, send a link in an email for a script we wrote. Yeah. That now it's more like, no, this can be the place. This can be the platform for the work and the storytelling that we want to make. So I think that at least from like a release, like what we're making and why we're making it, I think has changed a little bit. But I think comedic philosophy has remained somewhat similar. If anything, it's always felt like we've tried to infuse thought experiments and emotional, investigations that we might have on our own friendship and relationships. But like as our lives have changed and we've grown up and have had different things happen both interpersonally and individually, I think that's started to inform what we're more interested in making.
Yeah, and there's definitely stuff, I would say there's stuff that has evolved through us trying something and liking it and wanting to push further in that direction. That's changed. Like that has evolved over time. So there's stuff that like, I don't know if we would have made it exactly like that at the beginning of our channel if we hadn't already made these 3 things in between that made us feel like, yes, let's go further with that joke, or let's go further with that relationship idea, or let's take longer in this section than we otherwise would have. I think there are some raw, like pure things like I can tell you if we would have made this Genie sketch in 2016, I know it wouldn't have been 6 minutes or whatever it is. I know like that there were just numbers in our head that were more restricted or whatever. So there's stuff like that where we just, I think, have a good sense now of like letting the idea, the concept speak to us in terms of how long it wants to be, and not feeling like we have to worry about making it shorter or making it longer or whatever. Just kind of, there's some more freedom there. There's more confidence for sure of just like, we've made this stuff, we know, so we can go like, hey, this is similar to this other thing we made. So we can kind of fall back to some of that stuff, but also how do we make it fresh and keep it exciting for us and keep it original, so that we don't get too formulaic with our own stuff. So I can't give you like a singular, this is a new philosophical idea, but it is that like learning from shifting. Our shorthand now includes a lot of like, we can reference things we've tried before and didn't like, or things we tried and thought worked well, and can be talking about like, hey, this has some of the DNA of this sketch we made 5 years ago. Do we lean further into that? What worked? What didn't work? So just experience has been really helpful in that way.
And I feel like
Niecy,
we're trending closer towards a lot more fart jokes.
yes, we've been.
That's what we've been building towards this whole time.
That is a
hopefully.
real. I think there's probably like 2 fart jokes now in the channel. I have a real deep aversion to it, and they've popped up in a lot of
Not
scripts.
to say that I have.
Chris
not
is
to say
not like
that I
a
have
fart joke guy. I think you
disposition.
just found that there was a thing that I would say no to. And so enjoyed trying to get me to say yes, and now like twice I think I have said yes to a fart joke.
And sometimes I'm sure the ones that you've said yes to have only come about because I put them into a script to poke at you.
Yeah. No, exactly.
I wouldn't otherwise write this.
Niecy asks, Niecy says, love your videos. I just subbed now. Thank you. Crispy Acorn, will we ever get a long form comedy sketch again? Yeah, we do. So we sort of have this weird internal distinction between like, this is a sketch, this is a short film. It's kind of meaningless. It all probably seems the same to you. But our next thing that we're dropping is what we would class as a short film, but is also a long sketch. What did that clock in at? 10.5 minutes?
I think we're at 11.
11 minutes?
I think 11 minutes.
So that'll be coming this month, an 11-minuter. So we got you, Crispy Acorn. Congrats, guys. Tanner Charles, any chance we'll get Ian Owsley live action soccer collab anytime soon? Met him while I was living in LA. Great dude. I've now met him a couple of times. Great dude. Seems like such a good dude. And I love what he did with the character. Yeah, who knows? Jammy Chills. Hey guys, I want to have a skit show of my own and just want to say thanks to you for inspiring me and congrats. Oh, that's because of you inspiring me and congrats on 500K. That's so cool, Jammy Chills. My biggest piece of advice for you is to do that. Just do it. And the hurdles that you think exist to you doing that are mostly matters of your own taste, and you'll just get better if you just start doing it. So do it. Also helpful to have a friend.
100% agree. Yeah, having even if you're not doing it entirely with somebody, having that accountability partner or partners is great. If you're finding writer's block, send an email to a friend to say like, hey, will you demand that I send the worst version of this sketch to you by this Friday?
Yeah.
And then hold me to it. And then sometimes that can be really helpful with getting through sticky points.
A lot. And that continues to be a thing for us. A lot of our stuff that I'm proudest of has at one point had a draft that was just like, this is unreadable to anyone outside of us, but something just needs to start happening because we know there's an idea there, but it's not happening yet. So let's just bull through and have one of us send the other one absolute trash, and then get to enjoy the rewrite process, which we both really like. Get excited about getting better at stuff and making stuff better and figuring out what worked and what didn't is a great path to just freaking doing it. Yet to be decided. I was just going to
say, that's also a thing I keep rediscovering every time. It's weird that you can immediately forget stuff, but like writing and then writing a first draft of something is always weird and hard. And then the first draft feels terrible.
Yeah.
And then the second and third drafts always feel better. And then suddenly it's like, oh, now this is actually a thing. But every time forget that.
Yes.
It's weird.
And that's also obviously people should make stuff solo as well. But it's another benefit of a partnership is I'm going to spit out something bad and trust that you will identify what could have been good.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Ditto.
Like the other person will see what I was going for and what part of that works and what doesn't. Didn't realize Sock had a YouTube channel. I'm all for it. Found you guys through the Perfect Wish short. Love hearing that. And it seems like it introduced a lot of people to us, which is so deeply cool. Amused Walrus, why did you guys start in the first place? And I'll fold this in with Sidewinder DK. Love you guys. How did you meet? We started making stuff together in college. We went to college together. We had met before then. Longer story for another day. But we met. Yeah. We started making sketch comedy together for a thing at UCLA called Spring Sing, which is like a big concert thing hosted by a sketch group. So we were on that sketch group together, making stuff there. We were doing improv shows together a lot, and just quickly figured. And then we made this web show, Dorm Life, with a bunch of our friends from UCLA. and just over time realized we really liked making stuff together, and kept going from there. And then, as Chris was mentioning earlier, the channel sort of came about, built a bit around Movies in Space, which was a short film that Chris made and spearheaded and wrote and directed that I acted in. And when we were taking that around to film festivals, we were like, this is fun. We could be doing this. And then we started writing and directing stuff together, and the channel.
And we had White Room in the pocket. We filmed White Room and hadn't edited the footage for like a year and a half. It's so strange. And it was like almost like, oh, well, it was all in a way born by both of us having chapters of our lives that were kind of shifting. Like I remember I was ending Blue Man, and I was coming back to LA, and I was like hoping to have more in the portfolio for like writing and directing.
I was acting on a thing on 100 Things to Do Before High School, which was a live action Nickelodeon show. So it was like, oh, I'm a series regular on this thing. It's pretty busy. And then as that was wrapping up, it just kind of came together where we were both just like, let's start making stuff. Let's whatever.
Yeah.
And then found some success with our very first thing, White Room. Fun fact. Okay. Ready for your mind to be blown, guys?
Get ready.
White
Come on
Room.
Now. Tell them why we're successful.
The perfect wish to outsmart a genie, whatever we named this one. Those two that both are kind of like, I would say, like tentpole sort of big growth moments for our channel. One, the initial thing that got it all started. One, this really lovely 125,000 whatever crazy 2 weeks. They were both filmed in my then garage. Are you kidding me?
Are you okay? What is that saying, right?
Are you saying that?
Think about that.
Are you saying that?
Go to your garage right now. Look in your garage. Look around and be like, I could film anything in here. And then it'll get more views.
The
than
White
the other
Void
stuff I would
from White Room was a single side of just like white photo background, photo paper. That we then just like positioned ourselves very carefully to create then the ability to edit that into a void. So that was a garage piece too. That's two big garage pieces. Our third one that was also filmed in a garage, Demon Book of Dark Secrets, which is a thing that we love but did not change the channel's trajectory. That one was filmed in our friend John's garage, so it doesn't count. It's not part of the.
So it doesn't fully count.
Doesn't count.
We didn't own it.
We didn't own it.
But also, it might be. But maybe it also like maybe it's like we'll just say it's canon of the genie one somehow, and then it's kind of part of it.
That's good.
So it adds to the genie thing. Yeah.
Neat, cool, okay. What's up, y'all? Congratulations, gentlemen. Congrats on the 576K and counting. How do you feel on splicing up your project for shorts? Changing the aspect ratio, cutting down the final sketch almost feels like directors having to reformat for VHS. First of all, I'll let Chris tackle a lot of this, but let me just say, Neat, cool, okay. Super, super talented sketch channel. We met them through Bufferfest. Bufferfest is like a very cool thing that happens in Toronto every year, where it's like a YouTuber film festival. We have met so many unbelievably talented people, some of whom we've had the privilege to then collaborate with. But check them out and check out Bufferfest this year. We're gonna have something there again. But yes, shorts. How did shorts go for us?
Shorts may have single-handedly been the piece of the equation that changed the game for us.
Yes.
Really, genuinely, we'd always struggled with understanding how to market our channel and the thumbnail game. And
on
a lot of
YouTube specifically, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think just embracing this new format certainly introduced us into a whole new pool of folks. I had some experience with shorts and like editing them and formatting for my other job, which is editing for like social media stuff for Netflix, and kind of applied some of that knowledge and learnings to what we could maybe some best practices for us. But then I think the part of it that's actually been great, I mean, of course there's an initial reticence to being like, okay, the filmmaker in you wants it to be pure. You want it to be 16:9. You want people to be fully immersed with, headphones on for all the sound mixing decisions and like, no interruptions, sit down, don't talk about it. I don't want to be in the room while you watch it, that kind of energy. Whereas, but what's been great about shorts, I think, is that, at least selfishly, and I think I'm speaking for Jack too, is that like, there's a feeling of we overshoot, under deliver our stuff. And then, but there's a lot of these like gems that don't, for whatever reason, make it into the main cut. And shorts for us creatively have been a really fun, like a hack we've had is that we were able to like pepper in some things that don't make it into the main sketch. Maybe just like a little runner of a game that like really gets you in and hopefully entices you to go watch the full thing as the quote unquote filmmakers intended. But I think that like creatively, the idea of being able to like pepper in things that we may not have otherwise kept into the main sketch, but still they get to see the light of day is creatively satisfying, while also knowing that the success of a short only helps the success of what you initially intended to make. I think that's been like so all to say, it's been a very win-win thing for us with the shorts game.
There's a cool thing of like, most of them, with very few exceptions, there are only a couple of shorts that we have that are essentially the whole sketch condensed. Instead, usually we're trying to find like, oh, here's a section of it that we think stands alone enough that you can get a part of the bit and then hopefully get the chance to go watch the rest of it soon. So it was a cool way to it was fun to really think about like which sections of this really do stand alone and need less context or have enough context that they're clear and can play. And we're still finding ones that we hope do that, and then they don't. Maybe people don't have enough context or whatever. That's still happening. But it became a fun new creative exercise to relook at each of these sketches and see what stands alone. And now we're able to a little bit, when writing a sketch, at least a little, like there have been, just to give you the example, there have been a couple of sketches that while shooting them, we go like, let's shoot the sketch, exactly the sketch, everything we want for the sketch. Let's get more because we know we're going to have even more places to use extra jokes that we're not going to use in the main sketch. And then let's also shoot a couple of extra intros, just like find different ways into the sketch so that we can condense that portion into a short, whatever. So trying to get creative around that so that we retain the feeling of control over it, that it isn't just like, oh, we're showing you a random minute in the middle of a thing, that we still have this creative chat about like what part of this will work well in that format, and is there a way to set that up well with a different line of dialogue that gets us into that, whatever. So we've
and I feel like Santa and or Secret Santa and this new Genie sketch were definitely as conceived from the writing process with shorts in mind, knowing that we were even like overwriting a certain section to know that would make for a good short, adding a joke or two here for Genie to know that like that will live in shorts, having an alt ending that we might release that knowing we'll have that life too. So it's been fun to know that like we can almost write with multiple formats in mind from the very beginning now.
Yes. Yes, I think there's a cool thing there. Hello there. I hope you'll have a heist party after. Anyway, don't ever stop. Our life has become a heist after. This feels like a heist after party. Chris is
for sure. I'm by
staring
a body
at the
of water.
fountains as we somehow got away with this sketch going well.
Yeah.
I'm trying to catch up to other questions. I was way up there reading all the super chats, so I've certainly missed a bunch of stuff. But thanks, y'all. Thanks for hanging. Thanks for chatting. I appreciate the questions.
I'm going to show a new view as well.
Yeah, switch it up on us. What else we got out there?
Up. Let's see what we provide here. I'm going to be in motion.
Nina asks, will there be more July 6th Spark? We definitely conceived of our last one as the series finale, wrote it as such, tried to give it the big send-off. We've, in its stead, instead of making videos each year, been doing live shows in LA. But I don't know. We'll certainly have to have a conversation when a new Jurassic World movie comes out to see what that does. Who is Chris and who is Jack? Excellent question. For many years, our picture was in the correct order, and now for the last year, the picture is flopped. So that's Chris, I'm Jack. And if that's confusing, that's probably fine. Chris is the blue one, correct. Ever gonna collab with Tom Scott again or the other Brit Sketch guys? Yeah, sure. Would love to. Those are all Buffer Fest.
I found that area all to myself.
Oh, yeah.
Look at this.
Oh, yeah.
Freaking view of the whole place.
Along the Seine.
Some random. Oh, my God. What is this? Oh, thank you, sir. Look at this magical Sprite that just brought.
A Shamrock Shake?
Adam, what is this? Is this a pickle shake? So Adam, get over here. This is Adam Zuick. Adam is a fellow Blue man.
Hi,
You can't
Adam.
hear a word you're saying, Jack, because I have the AirPods in and he doesn't. But
Right, well,
Jack
I'm not
just
even
said
saying.
hi, Adam. Yeah.
I got that.
And then Adam just brought me a. This is a pickle shake.
Pickle milkshake.
Pickle milkshake.
Love that.
Well, I feel properly fueled for the road. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
I guess I'll see you as on the Guardians ride soon.
Yes.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Got a pickle shake, whatever this is going to be. See, okay, now it's a celebration. Now it's a party. Well, I guess I got to do a quick taste test of this. Look at this thing.
Get
What do
in
we
there.
got?
Tell us how that goes.
Yeah,
I would
hang on.
drink a pickle shake.
Truly
Yeah.
awesome. Here's a couple things.
Yeah.
I love pickles. They know that about me. That's why Adam brought this over here. Is
Love
that
that.
I love pickles. And then, but it's not. You're not getting a lot of the vinegar. You're getting just the like dill. I think it's just like dill and the milkshake.
That's surprising.
Also, it's hot. So this
So-
is. I mean, it's
and
been hot out here. So this
a little
is great.
sourness can be very, like a cold sour beverage can be very refreshing.
Yeah.
Like a shrub.
Wow. Just an incredible. What a just a magical moment that emerged. And I
Yeah.
thought, here I am. I found a place all by myself. And then who's this fool
He
running
found
up to
your
me? in my
place
little-
all by
found
yourself.
me. I thought I was hidden.
Sergio, every time I meet my best friend, we make a Chris and Jack marathon. It is a very special moment. So happy for the recognition you're getting lately. Love from Spain. Thank you. That's awesome. That is legitimately like, I don't know. That's the thing. That's the thing we're hoping for. Is that we're making stuff that that friends can enjoy together. Is legitimately to me that's the thing, right? For sketch comedy, that's
Well,
basically the thing.
We're well, and we love friendship themes. We love complicated reflections of our own friendship.
Yeah,
That kind of that's what it's about, right?
yeah.
We love an emotional breakdown in the middle of our sketches.
Yes.
Essentially, that friends heal together. I don't know if you've noticed that formula, but that is certainly a thing we love to do.
That is. If you're new, you'll spot it. You'll spot that formula. We don't do it every time. Paul, what's up, Paul's sister Grace? Jack, do you still work for the Bees? It was never obvious to me. Just honestly, yes? No? Yo, hey, if y'all don't know, we did a thing on Patreon with Robert Hartley, who's a well-known game master, dungeon master extraordinaire, who is in our Patreon community. And he created a Save the Watermelon TTRPG. We had our friends Zach Reno, Dom Farah, Shannon Barry join us for a Patreon exclusive, like 4-hour TTRPG of Save the Watermelon that was one of the most fun things. I just had such a nice time. And check that out sometime. It was a blast.
Well, and the depths that it went to that were not just Save the Watermelon. It wove in lore from other sketches and just like fully like crested in this incredible way. It was just like a very thrilling thing to be a part of.
Yes.
So yeah, please check that out.
I'm still waiting for another music video clip. I'm not sure if I know what that means. But
Music video clip.
you've dropped some music. You dropped a music video that you directed on your channel.
I think the world is pretty aware of Non-Funkable,
Non-funkable.
the band that is just getting started.
Just getting started.
Just getting started. It's been
Just-
about 6 years, just getting started.
But dude, our channel's been around 7, and in
true.
some ways we're just getting started. You know.
We're just getting started. But yeah, my brother and my good friend Sean and I have an electro funk band. We have other songs that we've recorded. We just haven't made music videos for, but that's one that has a music video. Maybe that's what they're referring to. Do we have other? We don't have any music video. Oh, maybe the aliens have finally responded and their song with
Oh
the
yeah,
movies
yeah,
in
yeah,
space
yeah,
track,
yeah.
obviously.
Probably
Yeah.
that.
That's probably what they're referring to. Yeah.
Chris Donovan asks, "What's your guys' favorite sketch?" Do you want to just take a moment to shout out a couple of faves of ours that have that at this point we have such a large catalog that I'm sure if you just got here in the last 2 weeks, as the numbers tell us, many of you have. What are some older ones that we want to shout out to say, hey, go check out these. We like these. I can go. I'll give a couple.
You go first. Yeah, I'm thinking.
Here's a couple. Moments Between the Montage is a favorite of ours. We make a lot of heist stuff. I think that's a really fun one, and I mentioned that in particular because it doesn't. That was one. There are some of our sketches that were like, hey, listen, shorts might not get this idea across well. So like we've released a short or two for that one, but we're like, I don't know, not an easy way to clip that into shorts. So that's one that if you found us through shorts, you might not have seen. Check that one out. Really like that one. What else?
Wormhole Monocle was a miracle that it actually worked.
Yeah.
That was a very, very, very hilarious day. And then one that it was happening in real time. It was all just happening in real time. It was such a weird way it came about. It was based off of like a movie idea I had that I'd been developing for like a long time.
Like a very sincere,
yeah,
sci-fi thriller idea.
Yeah, where a guy peers into the future and sees the world in flames and is trying to figure out how to reconcile that, dealing with CERN and like time and wormholes and stuff. And then somehow I think I said the word wormhole monocle or something like that, and then you caught that and then called me out on the name of it, and then suddenly it was like, is that a sketch?
I think you wrote a draft. You wrote a draft of a sketch of it that focused more on the mechanics of a wormhole and throwing it into a black hole and whatever. But in the beginning, there you had written a joke of calling it a wormhole monocle and having the other character like blanch at that for a second. But it was just like a joke in a broader thing about whatever. And then. A common thing that we'll do is like when one of us has a draft of something, we'll also just like start riffing on the idea, just like improvising it and seeing what sections feel fun to blow out and make more jokes in. And that was one where just like, it felt very funny to me to not let you ever get past that.
Yeah.
And so we just played in that section for a while and then
but I also feel like that
towards that.
And then we almost had to choose on the day to be like, we haven't really fully decided on the ending of this thing.
Yeah, we wrote the ending.
And we have the crew here, and we're like, we were down at like this lobby trying to like figure out, we were like going through possible endings and stuff. And we purposefully had a second camera person that day because we were trying to film a couple things in a short amount of time. And then I think that almost by necessity birthed that style of like the simultaneous Parsi July 6th park energy.
We did a two cam shoot and found a lot through that.
But I think the full genesis of what that led to, which I think is one of my favorite sketches, that we merged worlds of heavily scripted but carry the energy of the July 6th Park and Wormhole Monocle thing, is What's My Line. I think that's one that I'm most, I think it came with we did a lot of rehearsal for it. It feels very organic, but there's like a lot going on in it. It's super meta. You crushed, like you went to like some, I don't know, you descended into some sort of mental heaven or hell to emerge on the other side with a script for that thing that pays homage to Abbott and Costello's Who's on First, and it just felt like a real special
I definitely enjoy at times getting to write very mathy comedy, and that really scratched that itch. And I grew up a big Abbott and Costello fan. That's always been a big part of
Same.
So that's another one that I love. Some other ones that are getting shout outs in chat for Movies in Space, Groundhog Day, Perfect Timing Villain, all getting some fun love in there. And then I'll mention this one has had a bit of success on shorts, but remains just one that I really, really like is Future Ex-Girlfriend. That's another favorite of mine. I think that has some of that short film energy, but keeps it in a smaller, like sketch type length and package. And I think there's a lot of fun ideas in that one.
and may have a very, very, very loose sequel at some point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know what you're referring to. Can I just say that your video editing is incredible, Daniel says. The way you get a laugh out of an aspect ratio change or a cut is very Edgar Wright-esque. Just wanted to tell you I'm a big fan. Thanks. I want to take the opportunity to say that Chris edits all our stuff and is friggin' so talented. So hell yeah. Thank you, Daniel. That's a very nice compliment.
Thank you for that. That's definitely a big part of our process is definitely, and has made me a better editor, is just the realization that like, a lot of times editing can make or break a joke, even if it's funny on set. If it's poorly timed in the edit, can fully deflate something. So that has given me a huge respect for editing and also comedic editing. And when it's done well and you see it done well, you're just like, I think editors are unsung heroes in a lot of the world of filmmaking. And so it's nice to hear something like that.
Totally agree.
It definitely is a big part of our writing process.
Yeah, our process. We spend a lot of time in the edit. We don't like rush that out and just go like, yeah, the sketch is funny. Like, put all the lines in order, Chris. There's a real artistry there to what Chris does, and we take a lot of time back and forth and finding stuff. We also, I'd say, like, there are some sketches where we intentionally set ourselves. The Genie one is a good example where like. There are portions of that sketch that are very modular in a way, where it's like, hey, once we get into that zone where I'm asking different things and I'm testing out different things and we're getting his answers, those, except for a couple of specific ones, those could slot around. And so we get to find the fun of like Chris finding the best versions of each of those and then getting to mess with the order and go like, how does this one play off of the energy of this one? How does the punchline, this one has like a nice lingery punchline, so do we want to come slow out of it or do we want to hit fast out of it? And I think Chris has a unbelievable eye for that stuff, and we experiment with it a lot. And I'm proud of that part of our process.
I think what's also interesting now with how much editing discussions we have, it actually forms itself in writing now. Like there's genuinely reading through a script and being like, oh, I don't know the joke yet, but rhythmically it feels like it would be nice to get, when we film this, have the option of the insert shot or this is feeling like a slowdown beat. Maybe we can get something a little more punchier here that you almost can start to feel the editing rhythm in the scripting
Right. Yeah. There'll be times where there will be sections of it where like right now as conceived, this is a dip. This is a like intentional little energy slowdown. Should we get a version of it that if we need to move it around to another portion of the sketch, it's going to play more in that energy, whatever. That type of stuff is fun to think about because of that. Cyboogiest sent a message, but I figured I'd donate. I was wondering if Jack still does voice acting, if you still do the Sokka voice. I mean, it's pretty much my voice. It's just like up a little bit. My voice had already changed when I was doing it, so it's just my voice, but higher. And yeah, I'm still voice acting. I'm on The Dragon Prince on Netflix, Lego Monkey Kid on Amazon. Check them out. Yeah. Amused Walrus, do you think that guy is still Groundhog Daying? This is an interesting question about the nature of Groundhog Day. I would say, like in the world of Groundhog Day, to everyone else, on the day after Groundhog Day, he's not Groundhog Day.
No.
Like it
he
happens.
He is existing in the timeline wherein it happened. But he jumps psychological, or he
Like it happens near infinitely to him, but it happens for a day to the rest of the world. He has like near infinite time within this singular day. So no. He is dealing with the repercussions of having peed in the water cooler and going to meet with HR the next day and how that really affected the workplace. Yeah.
But his consciousness jumped or split and then jumped to another body.
Yeah. How different is the process between a sketch with you two versus one with extra cast members? Virtual Waffler asks. I mean, everyone we bring on is like a friend of ours who we're excited to have come play with us. So I think the process tends to be really fun and really exciting. But there certainly is like practically a lot of times it's just like different coverage. Like a lot of sketches when there's only two people on screen, it's pretty easy to conceive of simple coverage. Or if we're shooting two cameras, we're just getting it at once. Whereas some of these more ensemble pieces, that just like changes the equation a bit. And there definitely is... We have to remember, like, we just have such a shorthand. We've made so much stuff together that we have to remember, like, oh, and then how do you talk to other people?
Yeah.
And we've like directed stuff we're not in or whatever, so we have practice like talking to people who are not ourselves. But we do get in the rhythm of just like of being able to just like, it's this thing, and then get one of those, and we just like keep the camera rolling and just make the other person do it like 9 times in a row. And that's not actually that typical. So we do have to remember to at least explain our process to our friends when we have them come hang out.
I think it's also fun sometimes in scripting, knowing that there will be another character or two, and then teeing whoever that might be up for success. And sometimes it's fun to be like, oh, that'll be we're so used to either fully having to hold the ball, so to speak, ourselves, with one of us being a character and the other one being the straight man, or a peas in a pod kind of thing. It just feels like when someone enters into that sketch, it just gives a different potential rhythm that we can't do fundamentally without another person in the room, and maybe setting them up to be the character or whatnot. So I think there's a lot more. It's oftentimes refreshing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
There's a rhythm thing too of like in a 2-person sketch, you kind of both need to be carrying some amount of progression and exposition and whatever. In a 4-person sketch, it's very fun to write. Like, you get to a point where it's ensemble, and everyone can just chime in. You can hit a rhythm where like once you've laid the foundation, then people are only chiming in with jokes for their whatever their character game is. So stuff like Meet at First Light, it's very fun where it's just like, every time one of these people speaks, it's a joke, and it's just they get to sit in the background until they've got the next joke, and blah. That rhythm is very, very fun to write. What's the origination of the clearance level bread recurring joke? I don't know. It was just a joke we wrote one time, and then it was funny to say again.
Genuinely,
it was not like an inside joke or anything.
Script. And then it was just like, yep, that works.
That's
great.
funny. And then we kept it going. Even Star Wars: A New Hope was saved in the edit. Yeah, editing is we talk a lot about the idea that you make a thing 3 times, and we really like we talk about that publicly a lot, but we internally talk about it a lot too, of like, what is the sketch that we wrote? Then on the day, what we're actually getting, and let's be open to adjusting if something that we thought was going to be possible when we were writing it isn't possible, or if we have new ideas. What can we get there? And then in the edit, well, what did we get? And what do we have? And what's the new thing? And you need to think of those all as distinct processes, and not be in the edit going like, but this was the joke we wrote back in phase 1, and if it doesn't exist, we're screwed. Having that flexibility and discovery process and keep staying in a creative mind the whole time, I think does really cool things to a creation process.
And I think treating the filming as like a setting yourself up for knowing that it's not the end game, and that you can take the pressure off of as long as you get more pieces and palette paints, you have a lot of stuff you can still do in post. Like we have a sketch we shot on a day where we filmed 3, and no spoilers, but it was basically Jack in a space by himself for an extended period, and then it was a meditation of like, okay, cool, we got a lot of the lines. We don't know fully what this is going to look like from an environment standpoint at the end. So why don't let's just roll and have you look in that corner. Let's have you look in that corner. Let's have you react this way. Let's have you react that way to nothing. We don't even know what it's going to be yet. And then just having those like textures can suddenly allow for, well, when editing, there's a interesting visual thing we got that like we maybe figured out or created a new idea at that phase. But I think it's really definitely made me feel less pressure on the day we're filming. Obviously there's pressure to get the things that we hope to when it's in like line form on the script, but the idea of it having to perfectly take its form that day doesn't necessarily feel like it's always the case.
Thinking a lot about what do we definitely need, what do we definitely want, and then what might we want, and trying to get as much of the we might want this stuff as we can create time for has done us a lot of cool favors.
You might want a pickle shake because this is doing me real well.
I feel like I do right now.
I'm full on. I'm just dill now. I'm at the bottom of this thing. I'm on
just
Dill
out
Hill.
there in Paris sucking some dill. I would love to see you guys collab with Almost Friday TV. I've really been enjoying their stuff.
They're great.
They're very funny.
Oh, I love Almost Friday TV. I would love to collaborate with them. Yeah.
I missed what the fish thing was. You guys parody a lot of movie tropes in your videos. Are you endearingly making fun of them, or do you think that movie writing has become stale? Tana Maytu asks. Good question. I think, yeah, I mean, I think definitely people fall back on cliches, but a lot of the reference point for those cliches are, like in my head, are things that I watched as a kid. A lot of the cliches are from 90s movies. So I wouldn't necessarily say that movie writing has become stale, rather that every creative process has some stuff that people will fall back on, and there's that laziness can enter at any point in a process. Would be my thought there. Not necessarily like a broader criticism.
I think it's the former. I think it's endearing. I think it's largely if anything, I almost feel like I'm hoping that we're retconning cliches so that we give them a chance again.
Yeah.
We're taking what was a cliche and then breathing a little bit more life into them, and like, this is how they come to be. And when you hear it again, know that there's a reason why it exists.
And also, some of the cliches that I think we're playing with are often like, it's not really necessarily even a deep criticism of that shouldn't be in movies. It's like, moments between the montage, the idea of like hunking together the exposition of a plan over a montage in different locations is fun. It's visually exciting. I get why you do it. It's just fun to me to then go like, but what was your day? What's the reality behind this thing? But that doesn't necessarily mean that like I don't think there's a good justification narratively for those things. It's not purely like a matter of laziness,
And it's just fun to recognize patterns too.
Yes.
It's fun to like try and start to notice like, oh, maybe that is a cliche now, or was that a cliche years ago, and has it become one? And just that like it's part and parcel for, I think, a lot of genre filmmaking, because a lot of genre filmmaking is a lot of trying to get exposition out very quickly to get into, and there's a lot of plot sometimes.
Right, the more complicated of a world you've built, the more it's got to get out.
Yeah. And so then sometimes cliches just naturally happen more often, because it's like, well, we could do 2 pages to make this feel organic, or we can do 1 line and get past it to get to like what this movie's actually about. And as people who love genres, you're going to find yourself facing a lot of cliches, and when you kind of like watch the movies you love.
Yeah. Did y'all do the George Lucas sketch because you realized Jack had an absolutely golden impression of him? That's generous. We had that idea. Oh, we lost Chris. I'm gonna go over here for a second. Oh, you come back whenever you're ready. I think we still got sound, but the video's out, and I'll pop you back on when the video comes back. No rush.
Am I back? Am I back now?
You're back.
That work?
That was an idea that Chris just pitched as a general idea first, an idea of like someone plagiarizing, finding out that like an idea of yours had been plagiarized by a time traveler. That was just a general funny concept that we were working on, and then we had the thought of like, I think it gets more fun if we do a real thing that really exists, so we get to play with the specifics of that thing and its cultural standing and what it means. So then when looking for like what the good example of that would be, I just flashed to when we shot the Santa thing, and I was like, more than I would like to admit, I look kind of like George Lucas. So then we worked on the impression from there. But yeah, it came from the overall premise first, and then the George Lucas detail got filled in, thinking that could be good casting, was how we sort of got in that order.
And a beautiful neck beard, or thin jaw beard.
That,
I
whatever
guess,
that thing
there.
is.
Yeah. Also, I'm just going to get the warning shot right now. My phone is at 15% battery. So this is I may very well die out at any point.
The fact that we've managed to have you online from Paris is remarkable.
Crazy.
So
this is
we'll take what we get.
And this is just data. This isn't even Wi-Fi or anything like that right now. So,
and just so y'all know,
technology is working.
We do a monthly live stream on Patreon. We're gonna do that after this. I guess Chris will go charge a phone, or maybe it'll end up being a later date in September. But we do a monthly live stream. So if you want to do more hangs like this, we will occasionally pop up on the main channel like this. But this is a staple of our Patreon. So and it's a nice small community over there that's very cozy, so very easy for us to engage more and get deeper into some questions from chat and stuff. So.
And I did bring a phone charger, and so I plan on finding a new spot to plug in for the Patreon moment. So
Nice.
I'm just giving a heads up. When I disappear and I turn into a bunch of just pixel dust, no, that's where I went, was that my battery turned inside out.
Yes. There's a Discord as well. Yes, thank you. I'm just some random guy. There's a Discord as well, so check all that out. Your comedy's so intriguing. Is there a specific process, or do you guys start from a joke and build a sketch around that? It varies a ton. I think the most common version of our process is one of us has an idea for a sketch. Sometimes that is just a joke, but usually it's a full premise. One of us has an idea that's early. We'll bring it to the other one, riff on it, talk about what the strongest version of that joke is, how to amplify it, and then one of us, usually the one who initially had the idea, but not always the one who initially had the idea, will go and write a first draft, and then we pass back and forth. We just pass drafts, and then sometimes that process happens for like a month. Sometimes that process happens for 4 years, is legitimately like not crazy for us. We'll have a sketch that is just like sitting on a hard drive, getting passed. When we're looking for new sketches, we'll go, remember that one? There was something funny there. Let's look at it again, then write a whole new draft of it. And then there have also been sketches, particularly recently. There have been in our last shoot batch, there were 2 different sketches that got like their first draft finished the night or 2 before. So we'll see if you notice. Literally don't. I don't think you would. I would hope you don't. I think we've got our process down enough that hopefully isn't super obvious. But yeah, sometimes it's short, sometimes it's very long. But that's generally our process, is settling on the idea together, finding a version of it that we both get excited by, then one of us doing a draft and passing drafts back and forth. Sometimes the second draft is what we would call like a page 1 rewrite, where you throw the whole thing out and try a different version. But we're passing. And then the night before a shoot, typically, sometimes earlier if we can, but a lot of times the night right before, we'll do a like joke punch-up pass and an alt sheet. We always like to come with, hey, this line has a good setup that we really like. The punchline is good, but let's write 5 other jokes that could go in that same spot, and decide which of those we want to also film. So we'll do like an alt sheet of just like, here are other jokes we could try. That's basically our writing process.
I feel like, too, coming up with the ideas has a lot of variety of where the origins stem. Oftentimes that can come from anywhere. So it's like, most usually it's obviously the way ideas come, where you're inspired by a thing you see or a thought you had or some thing that was gathering dust and a little brainstorm from yesteryear. But then there are other times where we have like a friend that says like, hey, I don't know if this is at all helpful, but I have access to this random space. I have access to a dinosaur museum, or I have access to a mirror cube, or I have, and then you just start to be like, well, this is too cool to pass up. What would be an idea we could write for something like this? Or this person wants to collaborate and we don't, and then it's suddenly like, well, what would be a fun fit to work on with that person? So the origin of ideas can come from many places, but a lot of times it's fun to just like be put into a box, and that actually can be a great thing.
Yeah, we both get inspired by constraints of like, well, this thing has to be true about this sketch, so where can we go from there is very fun. I enjoy that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sketch idea. Man is doing an important message but only has 15% battery, but does it too fast, and now there's just dead air. Love it. Ramirez Art Jam asks, where was that? Where did that go? Ramirez Art Jam. Lost it, gone forever. Lost it, gone forever.
Gone forever.
How do you figure out if a special
self-destructive.
Yeah. How do you figure out if a special effect is feasible? Good question.
You don't. You just email Lane Carter, and then you tell him,
here's
this is what we
got.
hope will work, and then he figures it out.
We do try to have chats ahead of time of like, what can we get on the day that's going to do us the best favors. We often, conceiving of sketches, there's a real one of the things when we're talking about what do we want to film, there's a real question of like how many. We don't want too many things in a row that are going to have visual effects because we don't want to be like tied to that process. Blah 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 blah. Like having to turn around more VFX things in a row or whatever. So we try to be strategic about when we do and don't use them. And then sometimes it is just like here's what we got. Like Chris was really painted blue. And then we were like, oh, we think it could look better if he was like a little more transparent. It could help smooth some of the blueness or whatever. So then we just like email our guy Wayne, who's such a whiz, and figure it out from there.
I feel like though, early on, I mean, we definitely have an understanding of what goes into a visual effect. I don't want to just like simply wave it and fully just like negate it. But truly, we are very fortunate in that our collaborators in the VFX department, particularly Lane Carter, who's done a lot of our stuff, they're deeply talented. And I know there's times where we're like pushing what we think is possible for an effect but still filming it and hoping that someone can figure it out. And we've been very fortunate that those that we've collaborated with can figure them out. But I think a lot what helped was like early on, some of the stuff we were making, even back in like college days, there were certain things that were only possible through some semblance of a visual effect, and trying to be really selective of like, well, we don't know what that is, but we need it for the story. And let's try to minimize the things that will require work beyond what is within the scope of reason of our skill sets. And I think that something like The White Room and Movies in Space being early in what we were making, both of those had a lot of effects in them. White Room was just like a lot of like painting out the edges and identifying, having to think ahead on like what to conceivably put us in this space would look like. And Movies in Space obviously had a ton of visual effects to create an alien planet, but even that had a lot of like compromises of making it an alien planet that has advanced to where we were at in the 2010s or whatever, to like be selective because a lot of it required me just figuring it out. And then asking for help beyond that. So I think those early ones that really like showed how hard it is to actually do visual effects made it a little bit more reasonable for us to like know at least an estimation of what amount of time we're asking someone to put in. Similarly with edits, like I know how long those take. It's a different conversation when you're working with an editor. It's a different conversation when you work with a director of photography that has the equipment and the know-how and that is so far beyond your own that you know what a gift it is than when they decide to bring their talents to the table. So I think that a lot of it is really like when it's beyond your own skill set, you try and do everything you possibly can to know what you're looking for, to be able to communicate it to another person, but also be able to let go within reason of what's possible and feasible for a person's time and what ultimately the goal is to just like convey the joke or the story. So if you can do that, you can find ways to do it.
That's where some of what we were talking about earlier too, of like shooting different ways, having different plans, having contingencies, is like a lot of times on some of the more complicated effect stuff, we'll have the like, here's the dream, let's get the dream, let's do everything that gives us the pieces to get the dream version, and then like, yo, if that can't happen, what are we gonna get just in case we need to cut around that joke or, do it in a different way entirely. What was your most expensive sketch? Probably the thing we're about to release, right? Because the way we shot
that or Movies in Space. Movies in Space was pricey.
Yeah.
I mean, renting the actual theater, that could have been a green screen thing, but that was definitely like a pricey location.
Yeah.
But yeah, probably maybe Need It Yesterday.
Need It Yesterday, a lot of the stuff that got released in the last year was shot around the other locations of Need It Yesterday, which is a short film that we're going to be releasing this month. We conceived of that short going like, hey, we're never going to otherwise find a way to make this, but it's at these like 5 or 6 different locations. What if we had other sketches that were at the same location? So rather than giving a full day to each of these locations for Need It Yesterday, we're giving Need It Yesterday 2 hours on a day where we're shooting 1 or 2 other sketches at these locations. So we did that to kind of make it more plausible. But I guess if you still total up, if you pretend that Need It Yesterday includes all of the like costs of those different shoot days, then it's got to be the most expensive. But we're crafty about it.
Yeah.
If you
Well,
include
it's always-
things that were
maybe it's
donated
always
to
been
us, like equivalent value of people's time or things, whatever, then I would say July 6th Park, The Lost Holiday is the most expensive.
Yes.
How quickly,
Our old friend.
Ryan Massey asks, how quickly do you realize who is meant to play whom in any given sketch? Do you think both of you have archetypes and tropes that you each excel at? It varies a lot. So there are some sketches where one of us is finding a character for it somewhere in the writing process, or we're writing to a character that one of us does. But I would say pretty frequently, I'd say that's a decent amount of them. There are some times where the parts feel very interchangeable, so we're just kind of like the week of going like, what are you feeling? Do you try this one, try that one? There are other times where it's a constraint of the shooting process. We're like, oh, if we put you in this makeup for that sketch, it'll be easier to then swap you into this thing for that sketch.
Right.
Yeah, but it varies. And sometimes, I don't know. I mean, there's start to emerge some like, oh, this one has this sort of energy and that seems more you or more me. But it's often
Yeah,
pretty
but it
open.
really, oftentimes, kind of in writing it, you almost just start to imagine the roles play out. I can't really remember a time that like they're fully. I mean, yeah, maybe the only time that like it's swapped to some degree from what we maybe initially imagined was like, oh wait, this could be a fun return of that character.
Right. That's
another
happened.
sketch.
That's happened for sure.
And that's yeah.
Should this character
or-
winkily be that character, so therefore it should be you?
Yeah. Or that, you've worn that character a little bit a couple times, and maybe it makes sense that we get my version on it.
Right. Sometimes
that
it'll
makes
be
it up.
like, sometimes it'll be as simple as like, we've got 4 things in the can, and how often are you the straight man? How often am I the straight man? Let's just vary it up. Let's keep it whatever. Or like,
Yeah.
yes, we've seen my bumbling, nervous guy. Let's get yours in there. Whatever.
Yeah.
That type of stuff is certainly common. Why does Chris stay on the left in most sketches while Jack is on the right? Whenever we can, try to visually be like Chris and Jack. That feels like it's good, or I'm in the wrong order here, but yeah. But
I love when I
that's
get credit for
subconscious of
voicing
those.
Sokka.
And
I love it.
my body type screams Blue Man.
Yeah.
What sketch would be the most fun to reshoot with roles swapped? That's a shocking
Ooh.
question to me.
Ooh.
Have never thought about that.
I don't know why this one just
I
popped
love
in
it.
my head.
Well,
But
yeah.
Abduction would be fun.
Yeah.
Abduction would be fun to swap.
Yeah, now that
On
you
that
mention it, I feel like if we shot that today, for some reason my instinct would be we would have swapped.
Yeah. I feel like maybe I would have had an alien take for sure.
Yeah. That's a great answer. Oh, also earlier someone asked, sorry, I lost this question, so I can't say your name. But someone asked favorite line in the history of our channel, and you said abduction, and that reminds me because my favorite line, and this was a joke that Chris wrote, my favorite is I want a second opinion. I think that joke in abduction is like one of my is a favorite. You can think on
let me
that.
think on
Someone
mine.
asked, was it
Let me think on
nerve-wracking
mine.
working with Dante Bosco? Dante's an old buddy. He and I did Avatar together. So always a joy to bring him on to something.
Favorite line. This is a tough one
What were the, while you think on that,
because none of them work.
you haven't found one yet that gets a, we're working
Not a-
on
not a
getting a
single.
chuckle out of Chris. Not there, but someday.
Yeah, not there yet. No.
What were the channel group names you've considered? Why not Jack and Chris? Was that a flip of the coin? No, it was always Chris and Jack. we were
Yep.
like, I was a very strong, just like, no, that just flows better. The kit feels like punchier to me. Jack and Chris feels very like soft and flowy, and for whatever reason at the time it just felt like get punchy. I just liked the sound of that. And we pretty early were like, let's just have it be our names. Let's not get bogged down in like a clever descriptor for us or whatever. Like the like coming up the hours spent in high school coming up with band names made me just be like, I don't wanna do that, and then spend forever going like, should we be called Garbage Pony? And so it just felt good to just be like, we're our names.
No offense to Garbage Pony,
Which
out
probably
there, your
is
metal band,
which
Garbage
probably
Pony.
is
Probably does
a
exist.
real act of
Here's
some
the
kind.
line that popped in my head.
Yes.
I would get that checked out again, or I would get that checked out if I were you again.
From Body Swap?
Body swap, yeah. Body swap, your line. I would get that checked out if I were you again. I always feel like the flavor in my brain of that I really enjoy. That's
Yes.
maybe my favorite.
Ryan asked if I've apologized to Alan Tudyk. I have not. It's a deep shame I carry with me every day. Really excited for Me, Myself, and the Void release on stream. Heck yeah. Also, might finally meet Jack at MCM London later this year. Potentially. Octopus King.
There you go.
Water Tribe. And Fame exclamation point. Heck yeah.
Well, I might have to take my leave. My phone is literally blinking at me. I'm in the like less than 10%. If I'm gonna have hope of keeping some semblance of a power for Patreon, I want to get to a place with the plug, and then get there. So I just wanted to again give the warning shot before I fully cut out here. But I feel like this might be my moment.
Great. Hop off. I'll take a minute or two to wrap things up over here. Check out the Patreon. If any of y'all want to continue this chat, we're going to be doing that right now, and there's so much other fun stuff over there, and it genuinely is how we have funded every sketch that we've made here for the last, 4 years, something like that. So really, 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 really is the can't do it without thing for us. So check that out. But yeah, let's wrap it up.
Friggin', thank you, one and all, new and old. The biggest hug from Paris, France. Epcot.
Guys,
Epcot
secretly,
Center,
Epcot Center, Orlando.
Don't even tell anybody on the stream. It's Epcot.
Epcot Center.
But this is truly a dream come true making this stuff with you, Jack, and that people are enjoying. And it's just like hard to continue to try and summarize what this has been, continues to be, and grows towards. But we're in it for the long haul. This is the ride. Let's keep it going, and I hope that you enjoy many more silly things to come. But love to one and all truly is just a dream. And that's not just the champagne and expensive glassware talking.
Yeah. Be careful. You have too many of those. They'll start shattering everywhere. They're made of glass. You're in Paris.
Yeah.
On the way out here, one last super chat. Are there any other comedy channels you'd love to collaborate with? Smosh, Wizards with Guns, etc. Yeah, I mean, we love watching, watch so much awesome stuff. Just to shout some people out. Ryan George, we popped up on a thing for Moving Mind Studio, but would love to find more ways to work with Ryan George and Julie Nolte. I've been a big fan. Recently, been watching a lot of Almost Friday TV. Been watching a lot of Joel Haver. There's some really fantastic sketches.
Titanic are geniuses.
Britannic, we love.
Jack and Dean, we've collaborated with them and a little bit of Britannic in the podcast sketch.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for all of this. Let's hang again soon. I don't know, 600K probably pretty in reach. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Patreon. Any of you who are going to be over there. Thanks, Joel Crane. Love Dragon Prince. Thanks. Me too. Season 7, December. Thank you so much. We'll see y'all soon. Happy holidays. Okay. Bye. Good end.